What's going on, guys? It is CalSo33. Thank you very much for clicking on the video. This is going to be a little different from the Coach Cal series. So I did have a video planned for the Coach Cal series today, but unfortunately some things came up like with real life and working, so I didn't really have time to watch a whole video and then like edit it and then do all the other things. So what I decided to do was to make a predictions video for the groups heading into the Invitational 2021. So if you don't know, I'm a big fan of Rainbow Six Siege's competitive scene. I watch all of NA, North America, and Europe's games, and then like if there's like a big tournament in Brazil, I'll watch it, and then I'll watch like a finals match in APAC. I don't really follow them too much, but um, anyway, so I wanted to kind of release this video anyways, or do a video anyways, with my predictions on what I think is going to happen. So what I decided to do was pull up the Wikipedia page for Rainbow Six and show you both of the groups. So Wildcard Gaming, they are disqualified if you don't know, because they live in Australia, and Australia has some really strict COVID travel protocol, so they weren't going to let Wildcard go. So unfortunately, they're disqualified. The way the bracket works, by the way, is it's like a round robin in each group stage. So, for example, Altiora right here will play every other team, and I'm assuming they'll just get the win. Like for their wildcard games, it'll just count as a win, so everybody will get a win whenever they were supposed to play wildcard. The bottom two teams are eliminated, and they do not make it into the second part of the tournament, which is I'm not really sure how it's laid out, but there's like two separate brackets kind of. One's like a elite bracket, and I think like the top, from what it looks like, the top four teams in each group stage are going to make it into like that higher bracket. The bottom four, or like the middle, I don't know if you can kind of see the colors, but they'll go into like that second kind of tier bracket, and then the red ones right here, the last two, they're going to get eliminated. So, after, what is it? What is the date? I want to say like February 13th or 14th. So, like February 14th, we'll know who makes it out of groups and what seedings they'll have. So, this is going to just kind of be um, like a premeditated, like what I think is going to happen. I'm sure my predictions of like top four of who's going to win it will change once the group stage is over. But until then, I figured I would do like a tier list of where I'm ranking every single team going into it. Now, I got this on the tier maker, and this kind of stuff like makers is listed like four times for some reason. MIBR is listed twice, but everybody's here, so I'll just kind of do it that way. So, um, this isn't like, so I'll tell you, I'm gonna rank every team like in terms of the tier, and then we'll come back here and I'll tell you who I think is going to be eliminated from each group, and then who I think are the top four teams that are going to come out of each group. As you can see right here, wildcard's already out, so they're immediate DQ. So yeah, it's only going to be one team that gets eliminated from Group B now. But anyways, let's start the tier rankings. So first up, Cloud9. Now Cloud9 is an APAC team, and I don't really follow APAC all that well, but I did watch the Cloud9 versus Giants match that was like a little while ago when they played in I think it was like a championship for like APAC or something like that. I don't remember the match, but both teams actually fought really hard, and Cloud9 looked pretty good. Now, I'm still going to, like in the past, I would have definitely put them in Group D, but I think Cloud9 is like a group, or is like a C tier team. I think I said Group D. I meant tier D, but I think they're like a C tier team. So the way I'm doing it, by the way, backtracking a little bit, S is like favorite to win. A is like an outside kind of favorite, like still really good, but not like a top team. B is going to be like they can win it, but just not, probably like putting your money on them wouldn't be all that great. And then C is like they're going to be competitive, but likely aren't going to really they're not going to win, and then D is like they're trash. Um, and I mean, like, obviously these are like the best teams in the world, so none of them are trash, but in in perspective like of who's here in the tournament, they're kind of trash. So BDS, arguably the second, if not the first team, first best team in Europe. I think they're an S tier team. I don't think there's any debate there. When you have Shaiko, who is arguably the best player in the world, and then a really good support staff with Alems and Brid and Rafael and who am I missing? Renshiro. Like, they're a solid team, and yeah, they kind of live and die by how well Shaiko does, but I think they're absolutely like a favorite to win. I would say like top four in my opinion, which I'll tell you my top four teams in a second. Next is DZ. Now, I'm a really big DZ fan. That's probably like my favorite team in North America would be Dark Zero, and mostly because of the content that they make around the team, like their YouTube channel. I love it. I would probably put them in the A tier. However, I think DZ is going to get upset. That's just the feeling that I have right now. I think DZ is going to get upset pretty bad, and I'm going to go ahead and put them in the B tier. I want to put them in A, and I think a lot of people would put them in A, but I think they're going to like get out of group stage just fine. But I think once the playoffs come, I just have a bad feeling for DZ. I don't know why. I think it was just like in the last NAL championship that kind of went down. It looked like DZ was actually stratting pretty good. Like, I don't think they showed everything, like pocket strats and everything like that, but I think they're really trying to win. And the fact that they got slapped by TSM, I just don't really have a good feeling of DZ going to this tournament. So I'm going to put them in the B tier. FaZe, now in the past, FaZe has always been like an A tier team that performs like a C tier. I think a lot of people kind of see them in the C or D range. I think they're gonna make it out of groups. I think Astro, like if you have Astro, like you're set, and they have like Astro, Yuna, and I forgot the third guy, but I'm gonna put them in the C tier, like on the verge of going into the D tier, but I'll put them in the C tier. This is Altiora, I believe. Oh, Furia, not Altiora. Furia. Furia, honestly, don't know anything about them. I think they were like one of the qualifying teams. Was that from? I think that was from Canada. If I'm. Oh, it's a Brazilian. See, I don't even know. Navi's. That's the only guy that I really recognize. I'm gonna go ahead and say Furia is probably. I'm just gonna put them in the D tier for now. I may change that, but I don't really see Furia doing anything. G2, so they just won the European Championship. I think there's no doubt that they are an S tier team, and I think a lot of people are going to pick them as their possible favorites. I'm going to put them slightly above BDS, by the way. So I'm going to put G2 in the S tier, and currently like the favorite. But we'll keep going down the list. Giants, I think Giants and C9 are kind of like pretty even footing. I'm going to put Giants slightly ahead of C9. So I'm going to put them in the C tier, both APAC teams, like the top two teams, I want to say, out of APAC. MIBR. So MIBR, I'm going to go ahead and put them in the B tier. Now, the reason being is I think in terms of all Brazilian teams, like this meta is going to favor them. Most definitely, and I think MIBR can definitely pop off, and I think they're a sleeper pick for sure. But I'm actually going to go with this logo since you can see it a little better. I think they're a sleeper pick for sure. However, I think there are stronger teams, and I think there are stronger teams that are going to like outperform them. I'll actually put them above DZ, but I think MIBR is definitely one of the more solid teams, and like I said in the beginning, like they're not one of the favorites. They're kind of like an outside shot that can win. So I'm gonna put them right there. Next up is Nip. Now, I'm going to have to put Nip in. Uh, it's either S or A. By the way, I didn't script this at all. I'm just kind of going with it. I'm gonna put them in the S tier. I think Nip is really solid. I'm gonna put them even above BDS. I think Nip is really solid going into this. Like Moosey's crazy. I think they're gonna have a really strong run. So I'm gonna put Nip in the S tier. SSG, the reigning champs. A lot of people are sleeping on SSG. I can't put them in the S tier though. Like I'm not basing that off of their um, their last showing, by the way, at like this previous like NAL championship. I I like their past year has kind of been a little lackluster in my opinion. Like it hasn't been that great, given like their previous performance. I'm gonna put them in the A tier. Like I can't put them in S, but I mean they're definitely above B. So I think A fits them pretty well. Next up, Team Empire. Hmm. I'm gonna go ahead and put Empire at the top of B. So yeah, they're like verge of A tier. They've been really solid as of late. However, I think there are some teams that I would still put above them, and I think they do have an outside shot to win, but I wouldn't bet money on them. So based on that criteria, I think B suits them. Liquid is going to be. I'll put them right after SSG simply because SSG are the reigning champs, but I think like Liquid, Nip, MIBR. Isn't there another Brazilian team? Team One. Yeah. But I think Liquid, Nip, and MIBR all are going to be like really, really solid, and I think like any of them honestly can win. I think Liquid and Nip are like the two favorites, and I mean I don't know. I want to see Nesk like pop off again, like we've seen him, and I expect that to be honest. Team One, I'm gonna go ahead and put them slightly above Phase. They're pretty young and they're pretty nasty, but I don't think, if I recall correctly, I could be wrong, but I don't think they have a lot of LAN experience. So I'm gonna put them slightly above Phase. I think both of like Giants and C9 I think are a little stronger, but that's just because I really don't know too much about them. But I think they are strong. So I'm putting Team One down here. Now TSM's going above G2, and I think TSM. I'll just spoiler warning now. TSM is my favorite to win the championship, or to win the championship, to win Invite. I just think like they just look so good. Like they look so good. Um, I think, yeah. I mean, enough said. Like TSM is just insane. Virtus Pro. I'm gonna put them right after Empire. I think that like both of them are kind of like the same. Like Virtus Pro can absolutely pop off. I mean, they're both freaking insane Russian teams. I don't know. There's not much to say. Like I think they're in the same boat. Both of them can win. However, I wouldn't really put either of them above any of these teams right here. Now, this is Altiora, and this is the team that is coming from Canada, and they are losing their org, unfortunately, after the season. So that's kind of like a feels bad. I don't really see them performing that great, so we're just going to stick them down there. We just throw a wild card back there, by the way, because they're eliminated. I would have probably put them like right here, though. I'll just throw that right there. No need to go into that. Next is Cyclops. I think Cyclops. I don't. I'll be honest. I don't know too much about them. Um, I'll just put them. I think they're better than Phase. At least Phase like right now. I'm not really too high on Phase, but yeah, I don't think they're trash, but I don't think that they really have a chance to win either. OXG is one of those tough ones because it's like they could pop off and be insane one game, and like they could literally beat anybody in the tournament, and then another game like they could just be trash, like complete doo doo. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them slightly above um, Team One, just because of the fact like they're super talented, but like I said, like they're just so inconsistent. And honestly, like I would bet money that they would beat any of these teams right here, like in this kind of group. Um, but also like they could lose to any of these teams, and then like same thing here. Like I think they could beat. I'll say like anybody in Group B downward, other than like DZ. I don't know. They just don't really play well against DZ, but um, like they could beat almost anybody like in the Group B and above them in C, but they could also lose to anybody below them too. So they're just like a question mark, and I really don't expect them to do that well, to be honest. And last but not least, Makers, the Italian team that somehow beat a bunch of pro teams in Europe to qualify. No idea how they did it. I didn't watch any of their games, so I have no clue. I have no clue how good they are. I have no clue who's on the team. Um, I don't know. They're just a big question mark for me. So if I had to guess, if I had to just put them down, I'm gonna go ahead and put them at like the top of D. Like, I mean, they're at the biggest tournament in Rainbow Six Siege, like the biggest tournament of the year. I don't really see them performing like that well. I think like a lot of nerves are gonna get to them, and even if they were to make it out of groups, like they're probably gonna be playing any of these teams, and I don't see them beating any of these teams. So I'm just gonna put them at like the top of Group D. I think like they could probably beat FaZe right now at the way like with the way FaZe is playing, but who knows? Who knows with them? Um, but yeah, that's my tier list. So I I kind of ranked it kind of like how I ranked the teams in terms of strength. I didn't just throw them into the tier. So I think TSM is probably the best team going in, and G2 is literally like it's like 1A, 1B in my opinion. Um, you got Nip, who I think is going to show up really, really strong. BDS, really strong. I mean, Space Station and Liquid both are insane teams. And honestly, like, my heart says put DZ right there, but I just can't. I just have that feeling, you know? Sometimes you just got a bad feeling. So I'm gonna go ahead and put DZ in Group B. So before we end the video, in Group B, to start with the eliminated teams, I'll just go here first since wildcard's already out. I think Altiora loses a lot of their games. I don't think they make it out of Group B, and I think Makers just kind of slightly squeezes in, and I think Makers loses to. Like I said, I don't really know how the bracket works in the second half, but whoever Makers plays after that, like I think they're out. In Group A, this is a tough one. This is like a really, really tough one. I could see like Team 1, Furia, FaZe, and Cyclops. Like those are like the four teams that I could see going out. Um, I would have to go with Furia and Cyclops. I'm going to have to go with those two teams, Furia and Cyclops. I think neither of them make it out. I could easily see FaZe in that part that goes out too, but I'm going to go ahead and predict Fury and Cyclops don't make it out. I think FaZe just barely squeezes in. But I mean, of those four teams, I don't really think either of them are getting or any of them for that matter, are getting very far. And then the top part of Group A, I think we're going to see BDS up there, G2, Liquid, And I'm going to go ahead and throw DZ. I think they're going to do good in the group stage. I think they're going to actually do pretty well. If Empire gets in, gets into the top of Group A, like I wouldn't be surprised. C9, I could see them getting into the top of Group A. But I think it'll be BDS, DZ, G2, and Liquid. Those are my top four. My bottom two is going to be Furia and Cyclops. I think those two teams will be at the bottom. Now in Group B, Wildcard, Altiora. I think those are the two teams that don't make it out. Excuse me. And the top of Group A, I think we see TSM, NIP, SSG, and I'll go Virtus Pro. I think it's between Virtus Pro and MIBR for like that fourth, like the top four there. But I think TSM, SSG, NIP. I'll stick with Virtus Pro. I think that actually I'm not gonna go with Virtus Pro. I'm gonna go with MIBR. I think MIBR is gonna play really well. I think you could throw Giants in there as well as like one of the contenders to make it up into the top, but I'll go with the Brazilian team to go out on the top of Group A or in the top four. Now let's look at the playoffs real quick just to kind of see how they have it set up. So you have an upper bracket. So the top four teams of each group, they all get like a bye. It looks like a first round bye, and then So they all get like a first round bye, and then like the middle teams of each group have to play like the first round. The loser goes down, then they all play. So a lot is going to be determined, I think, in terms of like the final prediction of how the groups end up coming out. So I will make another video once the group stage is finished, but for now, that's my prediction video for the group stage. And then this is my prediction video or my predictions, like, or just tier listing basically for the teams in the tournament. I think these teams right here can all win. These teams are absolutely the favorites. These are kind of like off favorites, and then these could sneak in. I have a bad feeling about DZ, and I really hope I'm wrong. That's kind of like my hot take, I would say, for this video, is that DZ underperforms really bad. Once, of course, quote me, once the playoffs start. I think they could, like, honestly sneak in up there too. Did I even say that? Where's DZ even at? I'm blind. Dark Zero. So like they could even sneak in up here. But once the playoffs start, I don't really see them doing well. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video off there. Thank you very much for watching. Next Friday I will have another Coach Cal gameplay review. I believe it's a comp video from what I am told. So be on the lookout for that. But anyways, thank you very much for watching the video. I appreciate you clicking on. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed what you see. If you want to go back and look at the Coach Cal series, feel free to do that. And I mean, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you even watch Pro League? Are you going to watch the Invitational? I would highly, highly recommend you do. That's how I got into Rainbow Six. Like, the comp scene was the very first Invitational. I watched that one, and ever since then, like, I've been hooked. So, yeah, thank you very much for watching, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Till next time.